fine. That's fine. Hello. Hey, Heidi, how? I forgot what I said there. Oh man, that's bad. Yeah, I forgot what my. I don't even know that I formally had an intro technically, but it's fine. This is fine. What sinks now? What sinks am I having? What this time? I'm gonna send you to the workroom if you're doing all that. Fake sinks. It's just cat sinks. It's not the computer. It's just me. Hello, Cryptic. Okay, you know what? Go somewhere else if you're gonna do that. Hello, hello. I am back from my trip to the convention. I went to Comic-Con. That was a trip and a half. That was a time. Um, yeah. I don't even know where to start. There was just so much. Um, it was pretty fun. It was one of the funnest times I've had at a con in a while. Not that I have a bad time at cons, but this was a lot of fun. Um, Made the last minute decision. I think we had what a month. We decided to go to Kami. Yeah. We decided with like a month remaining before the con to go to the convention. Um, so that didn't leave a lot of prep time for like anything, which was all fine and dandy and well and good. But in the interim, while we were waiting on the con to, arrive, ended up watching Has Been Hotel officially, and I fell in love with one stupid little short king, and it was all downhill from there. um, Stupidly, I decided with like, listen. Yes, I did finally watch it. It was so good, dude. Yeah, no, I'm completely. I finished the whole season. It was great. It was fantastic. Um, I think we watched the first 6 episodes like 2 or 3 days before the finale dropped, and then we watched the finale, and it was just, oh, it was so good. It was, oh, dude, Emily is adorable as hell. Like, there's really not any of the characters I don't actually like. Well, Adam. Fuck Adam. Oh man. Um, fuck Adam, dude. Like he was anyway. But I gained a very fast hyperfixation on Lucifer, our short king of hell, and decided with about a week left till the con that I'm like, you know what? I want to cosplay him. So I decided that that was going to be my own personal hell for like a week before the con. And so I con crunched something fierce. That was probably the fiercest con crunch I think I've done since 2020, right before everything shut down, actually. Back when I did my Eevee cosplay. Mm. Yeah. It's the fiercest con crunch I've done in a long time. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun. I managed to actually, for the most part, finish the cosplay to like a satisfying point. The teeth still give me much sadness, but it's fine. And Cryptic, you'll love this part. Me and Totoka actually cosplayed Spat and Harmony to the con. And that was super fun. Also con crunched that because, why give ourselves time to do anything when we can just depressingly do it in not enough time and rush and panic and cry and caffeine and no sleep. um, so yeah, we ended up carpooling with some good friends of ours, and we were sharing the hotel room with them. Fantastic fun. Yes, I wonder who was Spat and who was Harmony. It's such a mystery. The world may never know. Oh man, what was the other like angel and devil cosplay we were considering? Where it's like, I wonder who's going to be who. But I was like, it was like, what, Crowley and Aziraphale?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there was another one we were talking about. But still, yeah. So I want to say we got to the con a day early, but we really didn't. We got there overnight between Thursday and Friday, just due to setbacks and traffic, and life happens. But the first day we were Spat and Harmony, and full stop went into this con thinking not a single person was gonna know who the hell we were, because like it's such a niche cosplay. Like, it's not even like a lesser known show. It's one of the games. Like they're game only characters, I think, or at least I never saw them in the anime. But these characters from a game of a not as popular anime from years ago. This game came out in 2002. And so we spent the whole morning like, yeah, nobody's gonna know who we are, but we look good, and that's what matters. Like, they came out great. We look fantastic. Bruh, the moment we step out of the elevators into our hotel lobby, we got bombarded by two separate people rushing us at the same time. They weren't yelling, but they almost were, because they were like, "Oh my god, are you Spat in Harmony?" It was so funny. Like, you know when like girlies haven't seen their BFFs in like so long, and they do like that running with the intent to like crash into them kind of hug. That fully was almost like one of them. They almost did that run at me. Like, they were so excited. Um they were super sweet. One of them asked for a photo with us, and then after we parted ways with them, it was like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. Made our day. If nobody else recognizes us, it's fine. It's fine. We ended up having 2 more people recognize us, so for a total of 4, which is insane. I went in expecting 0 to recognize us, and no, 4 separate people did. And it was great. Got to see a bunch of our friends that first day. I don't know. It was a fun time. A lot of our friends were doing One Piece cosplays, and they looked amazing. I still love that Megan didn't even know who the character was that she was cosplaying, and she did such a good job. That was super funny. Um, I'm glad and I was saying this the whole weekend of the con. I'm very glad that we ended up doing such niche cosplays. Such niche cosplays the first day. I'm glad we did niche cosplays the first day, because we got to actually take our time and go around vendors hall, look at all the tables and the artists, and kind of go at our own pace and kind of really enjoy the day, Because Saturday was oh buddy, oh buddy, oh my god, that was an experience. I got my first inklings of what was going to happen that day. Now, mind you, because I've kind of been in a bubble. The entire time I was con crunching Lucifer, I was in a bubble essentially, where all I did was eat, sleep, work, con crunch, and then just loop Lucifer edits on TikTok. That is all I did. I didn't really talk with other people in fandom about Lucifer, so I didn't really understand how popular he was at all. So the long and short of the day is that I essentially just like AMVs, essentially, like just fan edits of him. A lot of them are really good. Some of them suck, but I still watch them because it has my boy. But I also was an AMV editor for many years, so I'm a little bit more picky and snooty about my AMVs anyway. I did not make them. I only watched them. Or the Lucifer edits. I used to make AMVs years ago. Don't go digging for those. Don't go digging for those. Don't bring up my dark history. But yeah. So I just looping those. I know Totoko was getting tired of hearing the same like 5 songs on loop because I was just playing the same videos and they all had the same damn songs. Um, but yeah, so I had no idea going into this. You can know what it is. Cryptic, don't do this to me. Listen, I will never, ever publicly admit how many years of my life I spent making AMVs and for how long. You know, publicly, you will never. I don't care if you've got a gun to my head. I don't care. I will never, ever publicly admit how long I was making AMVs for. Will I show my friends and make them cry? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's it. That's the only way I'll publicly admit it. Because it's not public, it's private. On-screen chat is cut off. Oh, yeah, I didn't. I'll fix it one day. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not fussed about it. It'll do what it'll do. I'll fix the chat. I'll fix the sinks later, damn it. The sinks are fine. I'll fix them later, Cryptic. It's fine. But yeah, no, so Totoka she likes all the characters, but she doesn't have any favorites. So as far as like our household is concerned, there's just me loving Lucifer. And then like when we were talking anytime I talk with my friends, like everybody's like, oh, I love Alistair, or I love Angel Dust, or blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, and even the friends we went with, like one of them hadn't even seen any of Hazbin Hotel. The other two hadn't watched the finale, like the 7th and 8th episodes. So they only saw episode 5 of Lucifer. So even using them as like a gauge, like there wasn't really, I didn't physically see in front of me how the fandom felt about our short king. I finally kind of got a taste of what was to come. It felt like it felt kind of ominous, to be honest. We had woken up kind of not early, but early for us old people. Totoka had a panel they wanted to go to at 10 a.m. So somewhere around 9, 10-ish, we wandered down to the coffee shop that was in the hotel adjacent or connected to ours. And while we were waiting in line, the time just wasn't going to work out. So I was like, hey, you go to your panel. I'll get our breakfast. See? Oh, trust me, there was plenty of husks and angel dust to be sure. To be sure. But yeah, so I sent Totoka off to go to her panel, and I was just gonna get our breakfast. The line was quite long, so I was waiting quite a while. I think almost the entirety of her panel, I was waiting on our breakfast. Yeah. So while I was sitting down in the coffee shop after I'd placed my order, there was this cosplayer who was sitting at the table next to me, and I don't know what the character was. I still don't know what the character was. But she had a fantastic amount of makeup on. It kind of reminded me of like the Borderland characters, but it was like red and black. I don't know, but she looked amazing. It was a lot of effort. She was adding more. She was doing part of her makeup in the cafe. Cosplayers be like. And we were just chit-chatting, and I was letting her know I was going to be Lucifer that day, and she got really excited. She was like, oh my god, Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel? And I'm like, yes, that one, that exact one. And I had mentioned, like, hey, if you see me on the con floor, stop me. I'm going to be giving out rubber ducks. And she did not hear me when I first said this. But she was waiting on her friends, and when her friends eventually showed up, she proceeded to tell her friends that I was going to be cosplaying Lucifer, and her friend got really excited. And then some people that were seated across the cafe, like, whipped their head around, like, peeped from behind them and was like, who said they were cosplaying Lucifer? And, like, I was just like, yeah. And I was kind of talking to all of them at this point. Like, yeah, no, I'm going to be Lucifer. I'm going to be wearing his 3 wings, like his seraphim wings. If you see me on the floor at all today, my girlfriend's going to be Charlie. just stop us, and I'm gonna be giving out rubber ducks and stuff. And then the first girl heard me, and she like slammed her hands down, like, oh my god, like excited about it. And just like the way everybody was like seething with excitement was kind of my first tip off. Like, uh oh, I might have made a mistake. Hey, Paper. Listen, that's another thing. Oh man. Paper. Hello. I'm just talking about how my weekend at Comic Con went. um, but yeah, that was my first clue that things were going. It was about to be a very interesting day. Um, so finally get our food, and then I make it over to to Toka, and we go back to our room to get ready. And you know, five cosplayers getting ready at once in a hotel room is always an experience. But I ended up finishing getting into Lucifer far before Tatoka finished getting into Charlie. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go out and head to the floor because I was getting antsy and I wanted to go. So I went down by myself. Oh, buddy. When I tell you. So there's to get to the getting into listen. I mean, have you seen Charlie? She cute though. She cute though. There's a sky bridge that connects the two hotels to the convention center, which is pretty cool. And so I walk through the door to the sky bridge, and just suddenly I just hear a bunch of gasping and just like kind of hushed, excited. Oh my god, it's Lucifer! It's Lucifer! Look at that Lucifer! Just I'm like, and I just kind of like do a little bow and everything, and I'm just slowly walking. Now, mind you, I don't wear contacts, and I was not wearing my glasses. So I can't even fully see how many people are staring at me and or who's even looking at me. But as I get closer, I realize there's kind of a mini group of has-been cosplayers that were hanging out and just chit-chatting and like getting photos. And well, I got stuck on the sky bridge for about 10 minutes taking photos because as like one person would finish, I'd kind of break my pose a little bit, and then someone else, excuse me, Lucifer, do you mind if I get a photo? Just repeatedly. And like I'd started giving out the rubber ducks. I was just giving them out, and it was fine. I honestly should have bought more rubber ducks than I did, because holy cow, I didn't think he'd be as popular as he ended up being. Um, but yeah, so finally, like, it was pretty much like every time I'd get a small break between photos, I'd be able to take 2 more steps and I'd get stopped again and again. And it kept going across the entire like convention center, through all the hallways, and finally down into the vendors area, because the vendors area was actually down like these like 2 sets of escalators into this wide open room. So I finally get in there, and I really wanted to like meet the voice actors, because the voice actors for Charlie, Alistair, and Angel Dust were all there. And so I went down the first aisle and was kind of looping my way towards the back, because that's where they had the VAs seated. That's where all the VA booths were at. And as I'm about to get into one of the lines, someone stops me for a photo again, and I'm like, yeah, sure, let's just get out of the flow of traffic, because I'm not trying to be that person, Listen, you don't understand. It did truly. But yeah, so I'm not trying to be that kind of con attendee. I'm not going to block flow of traffic, and already I've seen like I'm getting stopped, right? So I kind of move over out of the way and back up against one of the vendors. It was one of the dropship vendors that has like the huge like wire walls with all the stuffies that cost way too much money. So I moved over out of the way to let them take a photo of me. Well, I ended up next to one of the con staff, and he proceeded to yell at me very rudely, telling me, "Hey, you can't do that here. If you're going to be taking a photo, you need to take it to the front, back that way, or you need to take it all the way to the wall that way." Okay. You're just doing your job. All right. You ain't gonna be that fucking rude about it. But you're just doing your job. It's fine. I get it. And I also got it because, like, I'm right in front of the VAs for has-been. So it's a very high traffic area. So I get it. I can respect it. So we start walking back to the front of vendors, back to where the escalators were, because there's a huge ass open area up there. And I'm like, that would be fine. That's perfect. And along the way, on the way back up to the front, as me and this guy's walking, another person tries to stop me for a photo. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Just you have to walk with us because I just got yelled at by con staff to go to the front. So the three of us, trucking along to the front, and we get to the front, and that was not a smart decision on my part because that's where the entrance to vendors was at, and that's where a lot of the aisles let out. It was in a very open area. Everybody could see everything there. And what that meant is that, anytime like multiple people are stopped and taking a photo of like one cosplayer, it always draws onlookers like, oh, what are they taking photos of, right? And everybody, by virtue of this, realized like, oh God, there's a Lucifer cosplayer. And that also meant anytime there was has-been cosplayers, they would run up to me really excited. So I ended up stuck. I keep giving different estimates of time, but it at minimum, I was stuck in this spot for 40 minutes, just non-stop taking photos. Like, it was kind of insane. Eventually, Tatoka made her way down, but it just, like, more has-been cosplayers would show up. Some would kind of trickle away, and then more would show up, and I'm just like, by nature of being I was the only Lucifer at this con. People say there were others, but like from what I've heard, they weren't. All cosplay is valid, but if if there's a point where if one of the cast of the show has kind of questions you when you say, "Oh, I'm dressed as such and such character," and they're like, and they're thinking, "Are you really though? Are you? You might maybe not be doing a good cosplay of that character enough to count." Um, but that's all. I'm not going to say which one. But yeah, so as far as I can tell, and as far as the consensus, I was the only Lucifer cosplay. If there was one other one, who knows? But Saturday, I for sure was the only one. And so everybody wanted photos with Lucifer. I was very tired. I'm surprised I had a voice come the end of Saturday night, to be honest with you. It was very funny. Just the amount of different interactions I had with the different people that would stop, because sometimes people would be very snarky about my height, and it's like, here's the thing, my guys, I'm his canon height. Oh, Cryptic, did you see that? Did you see the cosplay? I didn't realize. I didn't know. How'd you see my cosplay? Do you follow me on my cosplay stuff? I didn't think I posted it on Cursen, though, did I? What did I post? Did I post it in my delirium? Oh God. Let me run to not Twitter real quick. Like, I know I posted it on my cosplay. I didn't do you follow my cosplay? I don't know. It's fine. It is what it is. But either way, yes, that was, yeah. So I had a lot of people being, oh, you didn't see the finished one then. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got the not finished version. I guess I can post the finished version. Um, I mean, it's on Karababu, so it's not like I'm hiding it, but yeah. So yes, um, I should be. But either way, yeah. People were being snarky about my height, and I'm like, listen, I'm his height, so you can't say anything to me. I'm his actual height. I had a few Alisters do it, and they were tall motherfuckers, and I'm like, this is fine, it's fine. The funniest one to me was there was I think he was like the second tallest cosplayer I saw was a husk. This man was so tall. Y'all, he was so goddamn tall. He was super nice though. He had a bag of stickers, and they were all alcohol stickers. It was great. I think he gave me one, and it was a bottle of wine. It was like rosé all day. I'm like, fuck yeah. He would. Lucifer would be a rosé all day kind of girly. Um, but yeah, no, I had several people make the short jokes at me, and I'm just like, it's fine. This is fine. But I was telling people too, like, yeah, no, I'm his actual height, which tripped a lot of people the fuck up because, like, you see how short he is in the show, and you see him compared to all the characters, but there's not a good way of like relating that to like IRL to like yourself. So I was kind of that comparison stick for all of them. Like, yeah, no, this is if you stood next to the shortest bitch in this show besides Nifty, this is what it would feel like, actually. um, Cracked a lot of people up because they're like, I didn't think he was this short. And I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I know he's short. I know I'm short. Leave me alone. Oh man. I had several people were also like, hey man, where's your rubber ducks at? Your cosplay would be better with rubber ducks. You need rubber ducks. And boy, the satisfaction I got because my cosplay, listen, I know I love it. It's great. It made for so many fun moments, but the outfit doesn't have a lot of really good pockets, and especially if I'm giving out rubber ducks, I don't have a good way to store them, except for one place, and that was in my hat. So I spent the con walking around, walking around with rubber ducks on my head. I walked around the con with a bag of rubber ducks tucked under my hat. So I had so much satisfaction in anytime people they tried to be like, "Oh, where's your rubber ducks at, man?" I just flip my hat off and be like, "In here." Their fucking faces killed me every single time without fail because everyone was like, I didn't expect you to have those in your hat. Why are they in your hat? Oh man, it cracked me up all weekend long. Oh, it fucking was great because like sometimes like I would do it such that people could see the bag, but then other times I wouldn't. I would just reach into the hat and pull out a duck where they couldn't see the bag. And every time people were like, "Oh my god," I'd be like, "It's just a remedial creation for me, no big deal." How did they stay inside? Gravity. To be honest with you, it was just gravity. Because when I made the hat, I measured it specifically with me wearing the wig. So it fits snugly on my head wearing the wig. Um, and the bag that it was in was one of those like Ziploc ones, with a slider. And so I just kind of left the slider about halfway open so that when I reached into it, I could reach in and grab one, but it was closed enough that they wouldn't fall out. We're not calling me a goddamn duckhead. We're not doing this. We're not. Um, but yeah, so I would just repeatedly just like toss my hat off and be like, "Yep, my duck's right here." um, there was one funny moment because of the ducks being in the hat though. that I'm just like, I kind of wish somebody had been recording because it was such a A+ moment. It was when I was stuck down by the escalators at the front of vendors. Um, so a lot of the Charlie cosplayers got really, really excited to see me. They were all so sweet. I adored every single Charlie that I saw. All my daughters were fantastic. They were all so cute and so sweet. Ah, I loved them. But several of them ran at me. like how the on the first day when we were spat in harmony, I had the one person run at me to give me a hug. But she didn't actually give me a hug. She just kind of ran at me, and then we just like kind of like grabbed each other's hands and like we're not jumping, but like we're really excited. I was excited that they recognized us. They were excited I was spat in harmony, you know. But the Charlie cosplayers, one of them, like she paused for a second, and I mean a second, to get my consent to hug me. She ran at me so goddamn fast. I mean, from so far away, so excited. And the whole time, like every single time I saw a Charlie cosplayer, or they saw me first, I'd just hear "Dad!" And I whip around, toss my arms up, "Charlie!" Just like real loudly, like how he does when the doors open in the episode. And she ran straight at me, and when we connected in a hug, she knocked my hat off and it fell to the ground sitting upright. Basically, so the bag of ducks was on the ground under the hat. And we were still in a hug, and there was like a bunch of people around, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Oh, are you okay?" You know, and this one guy walked over and very gingerly, very gently, like just softly cupped the hat around, like where the top part is, not the rim, the top part, and he just slowly lifted it up and just all you and I knew what was about to happen because I could see him going over to pick it up for me, and I was like, "Oh no." Oh no. This is about to be a moment. Oh no, oh no. Um and I just let it happen. I just stood there staring. And he like they picked it up, and just everybody around, and someone was like, "What is that?" And it got quiet for a second. No, they didn't fall out. Because remember, I had the bag zipped in a way that they couldn't come out, but I could reach in and grab them. So the bag was just sitting there. And this bag is clear. So you can see all the fucking ducks in the bag. And so they're like, I don't even know who asked it, but someone was like, "What is that?" And I just, "My ducks." Everybody fucking lost it. Because, like, why were there ducks? And I'm just like, why else? Why would there not be ducks? What do you mean? And everybody's just like, what the fuck? Because, like, when you look at me, you don't expect that there's just ducks in my hat. But there are. There were. Oh, man. There were so many funny times, like, just funny little situations that happened. Gotta say my personal favorite was involving who doesn't love ducks. Well, there are people terrified of ducks, actually. Um, what got me is I left the con with 4 more ducks than I went to the con with. Because for some reason, other people just had ducks. And everybody was like, "Here you go, Lucifer, here's a duck." And the weirdest part for me is that every single one of the ducks I was given was the exact same type of duck. And none of them were like the ones I had and were giving out. Like none of them. They were all tinier, like this hard plastic, whereas like the ones I was giving out was like the soft plastic that you see on like Jeeps that squeak. So I'm just, why the fuck do you all have ducks? Why do you have some? What is going on? My favorite duck that I was given, however, is someone gave me. It's like a little inner tube shaped duck on a ring. I, d- I don't know why they had it or where they got it from or what the point. I don't. There's so many questions and I don't want to know the answer to them. But they gave me a duck on a ring. So, and they gave me that early on Saturday morning. So I spent the rest of the con wearing a duck ring. And I wore it on my right hand, and on my left hand, I had my plain ring on, signifying, like, because he still wears his wedding ring. And so I was just running around telling people, like, oh, yeah, Charlie gave me this ring earlier, so now I've got a ring from both of my girls. But, well, apparently, I guess I'm starting a collection because the con I went to in December, Holiday Matsuri, one of our roommates gave me and Totoka each a duck. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just have a random duck. No big deal. But that was foreshadowing my future. That was foreshadowing. So now I'm just starting a collection of ducks that is going to sit near my desk while I work. It's fine. This is fine. Um, oh man. Yeah, I intended to give away all the ducks over the convention, but I actually ended up with 2 leftover ducks from the entire bag because the last day I was actually kind of stingy with the ducks I had that I was giving out because I had promised several people ducks and hadn't gotten around to giving them their ducks because you know, kept getting stopped for photos, makes it hard to do anything at the con. I think the only panel I fucking made it to was the Has Been Hotel cast panel, and only one of them, to be honest. I don't count that one because I saw that one last year. I don't count that one. You went to 3. Yeah, that'd be fine. I will say this. So I ended up meeting several of the voice actors. Every single voice actor that I ended up meeting, they all have ducks for me now. I met Erica, who was Charlie. I met Amir, who was Alistair, and I met Blake, who was Angel Dust. But I also met Zeno Robinson. He voices a lot of things. He does fantastic work, but I was meeting him specifically for Hawks from My Hero Academia, because prior to Lucifer showing up in my life, Hawks was my obsession for years. Like that character was my theme on my phone for like 3 years. He has now been replaced with Lucifer. It had to happen eventually, but went from one winged blonde twink to another. Um, it's fine. This is fine. Dude, I love Hawks. Hawks is so good. But I'd been really wanting to meet Zeno for a long time, and it always just seemed like the timing never worked out. Where he was, like, if he was at a con near me, I didn't have the funds or the time to go see him. Or when I did, he was always at cons that were too far away, and I'm like, bruh, will I ever meet this man? But finally, um, all the ducks lined up in a row for this one to work out. And I chose that joke, that analogy specifically. So I met Zeno Robinson, met Kellen Goff. So hello, Candy Jones. Hello, hello. I'm just chatting about my weekend at Comic Con. I'm just chatting. It's not. Listen. You don't know how many times I said that line over the weekend, and how many like people asked me to say it, or like we're making jokes. Oh man, it was so funny. And like anytime like people were freaking out about Lucifer, I kept doing the "charmed, I'm sure" line. Yes, they did. There were actually a lot of cats. A lot of cats. Cons love furries, and furries love cons. But yeah, I met Kellen Goff. He was loved his work in the FNAF franchise. Um, and one of Totoka's coworkers loves the FNAF franchise, so she wanted to get a signed print for her coworker as a gift. I am not a furry. You are correct. I am indeed not a furry. But And then there was one other voice actor that we met that was actually kind of accidental. Her name's Katie Johnson. And I still don't actually know what she voices. No human cat body. I mean, I used to, and then somehow I got cursed, and now I'm just a cat. You know, we'll figure it out one day. Today's not that day, though. But oh, too loud. Don't do that. No. Okay. So I ended up giving all of the voice actors I met, I gave all of them ducks. And when we had gone to meet Kellen Goff, I'd forgotten to give him the duck initially. And I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to go back and meet him again to give him the duck. Turns out actually that all of the voice actors, all of the guests were staying in our hotel. So quite frequently, just over the weekend, kept passing them in the lobby. So one of the times I went down, oh shoot, didn't we meet Kellen the first day when we were Spat in Harmony? I think we did. And I just carried the ducks for Zeno and Kellen. Yeah. So we met Zeno and Kellen the first day when we were Spat in Harmony. But I still wanted to, because I had ducks to give out, so I wanted to give them out. I thought it'd be funny. And it's small enough that they could fit it in a suitcase. So I was like, I'm going to just grab ducks to give Zeno and Kellen. Well, I had forgotten to give Kellen his duck. I was like, shit. But I did see him in the lobby that night, Friday night, and I was like, oh, heck, I need to... I told Totoka to stay there and keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't walk away, so I'm not, like, running up here for nothing. Like, if he walks away, I'm just going to call it good, and I'll see him tomorrow or whatever. But I ran up, and I made it back in time before they left. And I was able to give him his duck and stuff, and he was super excited about it, but then he was like, you know what? I have a friend who would really love this duck. And the conversation was kind of winding down to an end, like he was about to call it a night, and I was like, hey, if you want, actually, I can come meet you tomorrow again, and I'll give you another duck. So this way you can give this one to your friend, and you'll have your own duck. And he got really excited about it. So I ended up owing Kellen Goff a duck. I was like, I owe this man a duck. And I kept telling people, I was like, I owe that man a duck, which is such an odd statement. It's like, oh, what do you think of Kellen Goff? Yeah, I owed that man a duck at one point. But when I was in line to give him his duck, now mind you, so Saturday is rolling around and I'm Lucifer on Saturday. It is not slang for crack, unfortunately. I am not that much of a silly goose. I was not keeping crack in my hat. Did I buy anything? Yes, I did actually. I bought... we got several... I think pretty much everything we bought was like Has-Been Hotel stuff. Except you got a Korok print. Like, it was a print of like the Koroks from Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom being like sacrificed to like Satan or something. Like a sacrificial offering. And y'all say I'm the fucked up one. Totoka went back and bought it, mind you. I forgot all about it.
I did not. I looked over and saw it and was like, it's mine.
Yeah. So bought several. There was one piece of merch that was Lucifer, and it was a sticker. It was $3, and I bought it. So I got a Lucifer sticker, a couple of prints of like Alistair and Angel Dust. Someone had like Valentines of like Angel Dust, and they only had like 3 left. So I bought one, or we bought one. Croc Space Program. Listen. I bought, there was omnibus volumes of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. There was 3 different ones, and that is like the one manga I'm trying to collect is Tsubasa, is TRC, and so I saw that they had the omnibuses, so I was like, I'm gonna get these. Apparently, they had the regular volumes, but they had just sold them off, and I was like, damn. So I was like, I'll settle for the omnibus, but it's fine. So I bought those. Did we buy anything else?
No, we were gifted a lot of things.
We didn't have to buy a lot of shit because we were given a lot. I was given so much stuff, dude. I was given so much stuff. Oh, yeah.
Like artwork, stickers.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, someone gave us, when we were Charlie and Lucifer, someone had like hand drawn, like little artwork of the characters, and they gave me Lucifer and gave her Charlie. Didn't they also give us something else along with those? Was it stickers? Might have just been the art. I don't know. But they gave us that. We saw some Orville and Wilbur cosplayers from Animal Crossing New Horizons, and they actually gave us plane tickets, and it had all the dates and like information, like as if it was an actual flight, but it was for like the convention, and that was super cute. It also had like they gave us little keychains with like the Dodo Airlines logo on it. It was super sweet. I got given a fuck ton of candy, ducks, so many stickers, ring. I feel like I was given so much more stuff. It's all just kind of pell-mell in the bags currently. It's kind of wild. I kept having to go back and empty my pockets several times. But like I was saying, so when I was in line for Kellen Goff the second time, because I owed that man a duck, I felt a little bit bad, because I was in line one direction, like facing him, and then like perpendicular to his line, there were people that started lining up to get photos of me and Lucifer. I felt so bad. Like, it was cutting across like where the line was for the VA next to Kellen, but there was like nobody in line for them. So but like, I took the photos for the people in line to like get them out of there faster, just because like, hey, don't block the VA, y'all, please. But when I finished that line, fucking the VA that was being blocked ran up to me because she loved Lucifer. She also wanted a photo with me. Now, again, keep in mind, I don't have my glasses on. I just saw someone run up from the table. I didn't realize she was sitting at the table. I couldn't see as far as the table. I just thought she was just chatting with the VA. And so got a photo with her and was just chit-chatting with her, and then she walked away. And then I'd like made a honestly, it felt like I needed to at one point. I started it did really, honestly, though. But we had made like a second pass and stuff, and I realized that belatedly that the person who had run up then was the voice actor, Katie Johnson. And there was still like nobody at her table. So I walked up to like actually like talk with her and stuff. This time, like properly talk with her. And this time I gifted her a duck. And we were just chit-chatting about it. Come to find out, this someone had posted the photo with me on Twitter, and then she had like quote tweeted herself and was just like, "The king of hell just gave me a duck, and I'm not okay." It was so funny. She was so sweet. And I was just like, we were just chit-chatting for a while, and I like responded to her, and she was fantastic. But so all of the VAs ended up getting a duck from me. I man, meeting the actual voice actors for the cast was fucking hilarious. They were, you couldn't have found sweeter people to have done the cast for such a raunchy show, honestly. Like they were all so sweet and so down to earth. Like, come to find out, it was every single one of theirs first convention ever was Comic Con. Um, so none of them had like any experience with conventions at all. So this was all brand new to them. Um, so how I and this is how I ended up meeting all of them in order is I went to go see Charlie first because of course I had to go see Charlie first because that's my daughter. I gotta go see my daughter first. Um, but I wanted to be silly about it because obviously like I'm in character, I'm in Lucifer, and so as I'm waiting in line. I'm sure by this point she's already seen my ass running around and everything. But to try and keep a little bit of the surprise down and stuff. I the whole time I'm in line, I've got my back to her, just not looking at her. She just sees wings and that's it. No, unfortunately, it was just Charlie, Alistair, and Blake. I guarantee you, if Jeremy Jordan had been there would have been a lot more Lucifers. um, but it was just those three, which was fine. I feel like if any more of the Has Been cast had been there, that con would have probably gotten out of control, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, so I'm standing in line for Charlie. So even if she has seen me walking by at any point, she wouldn't have been able to get a good look because where I'd been walking was so far away from the table, and their lines were always pretty full. So there was always people in the way, and she was, focus on the people in front of you kind of thing. So got my back to her, and finally, like, the person who was in front of me, I see them walk away, or I hear them walk away, and I immediately turn around and do that same Charlie, saying when like the door opening and he's greeting her at the hotel. I did that same thing to her. She got so excited, y'all. Dude, it made my whole day. She like slapped the table and like stood up, got really excited and ran out from behind the table to come give me a hug. She was so excited. And we were just chit-chatting and I told her about me being Lucifer's canon height, and she was just like, "Shut up, nah," because she was a little bit taller than me. And she was super sweet. She wanted a photo with me, and that's when I made the joke to her, like how you were saying, like, "Oh, you should run a booth," and I'm like, I ended up making the joke to her. So, do I charge you? Is this how this works? Because you pay for the guest photo and stuff or whatever. She just thought it was super funny. I was just like, no, not kidding. I'm just kidding or whatever. And then I was like, I have something for you. And so she stopped and was like looking at me. I flipped my hat off and grabbed out a duck for her. She got so excited again. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. Like, oh my gosh, that entire interaction, it was just like talking to Charlie. Like, these characters were actually, like, she was actually Charlie. Oh, nice. Maybe. So one of the people that took a photo of me at the con, I gave them full creative license to just edit the photo as they wanted because they're at SCAD right now and they wanted to work on effects in like Photoshop. I was like, have at it. Do what you want to do, my guy. They just tagged me in the photo. They made me look so short. Look at I look so short. That is so funny. They re-edited the apples though, and my staff. Yeah, it's fine though. Like I said, I was just he could do whatever. I didn't care. It was just like, I get it, man. I've been there. You do what you do. But yeah, no, she was so excited about it, and from there, I tried to hop into. I don't even like. I don't even know which one I wanted to hop in next. I just kind of was wandering between. So they had it set up where it was Charlie was on the left, the middle was Alistair, and then on the right was Angel Dust. That's where the how the voice actors were lined up. Um, and I was kind of hanging between the lines for Angel Dust and Alistair, so I was kind of hanging right there. But I think I might have been aiming to go into Alistair's line. I think you're right about that.
We were walking from Charlie's line to
Yeah, I
Alistair's
think
because we were
we
just going to go
were.
down the road.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Staff told us they would.
Yeah, we were yeah, I think we were going to go to Alistair's line next. We were going to go to Amir's line next to meet him. And staff was like, we cut the line because we've cut all their lines now. Like, they have a panel they've got to get to, which was fine. I get it. Like, you want to make sure they've got time to meet everybody and then go to the panel. So we got it. We understood. So we decided to make our way to the cast panel because we also wanted to go to it. Took a while to get there because I kept getting stopped again. We finally make it down because, of course, the main events room where the has-been panel was taking place was on the lowest floor. I at first thought it was on the upper floor, and then I realized it was on the lower, and I'm like, you know what? That sounds right. That sounds right. So we went down to go to the panel. It was all fine and good, except while we were waiting in line, it was so sweltering hot down there that the heat actually melted some of the glue on my wings, which caused the magnets to kind of goose a little bit. So I was like, well, to heck with those for the rest of the day then. So my wings lasted about half of the con day. And the line, it took a while for them to finally let us in, but we finally made it into the panel. Fantastic panel. I know they live streamed it. I know there was a second one on Sunday, but we did not go to that one. And I don't know if they live streamed it. I need to go look it up and see. Because I'm very curious to see how that panel went differently. But after we left the... Listen, it's not my fault that the depths of the con, the bowels of the con were hot. Jesus. There's something hilarious about me being in Lucifer and then descending to the lowest level of the con and my wings melting off, essentially. There's a little something about that. But yeah, so we go to the panel. It's fantastic fun. They were all so cute and so silly. We get out of the panel and there's even more has-been cosplayers, and we kind of get stuck doing photos right there. And then I get yelled at by cast. I get yelled at by staff again to move. I'm sorry. I know y'all are trying to do your jobs. But we ended up moving over a little bit off from where the main events room was, because there was just like an empty wall area there, because there wasn't really any foot traffic through there. So we were like, we're gonna go over here, and we were taking a bunch of photos and being goofy as hell. I still have to get those photos from that husk, me in the corner. I ended up in a corner at one point. That was kind of funny. And then we finally make it back up to like the main level of the con, and we get stopped again because there was I kept saying she was Sarah. Someone else said she was Emily. I'm still certain it was Sarah. There was a Sarah cosplayer. I think I have a photo, maybe. I have to double check. I took so many photos, it's insane. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it here? No. Yes. Husk. No. No. Did I? So here was after this. Here it is. I can't tell if that's Sarah or Emily. That might actually be Emily. What do you think? Is that an Emily or Sarah? I'm gonna have to look up her character later. But either way, one of the angels. I'm not paying attention to the angels the way I do the Hellborn. So either way, she showed up at one point while we were all doing photos. So it became another extended impromptu photo shoot location again. And then we all kind of tried to repeatedly like split off because, you know, if we get stuck together, everybody's going to stop and want photos. And eventually it was like, okay, I got to take my wings back to the hotel room because I'm not going to carry. Only Emily has a chest eye. I'm not sure. It's the crown she was wearing is what was throwing me off, like the crown and halo. Um, Again, I'll have to double check their designs, but she looked really good. Like, holy heck. Pun aside, holy moly guacamole. Um, so we ran back to the room, kept getting stopped still, and finally deposited the wings and decided to head back to the con floor because we realized that the vendor's hall was closing like a whole, wasn't it like a whole 2 hours earlier than the previous night?
Something like
Yeah, it was
that.
like 9 one night, 7 the next, and then 5 the next, which is wild. Oh, so it was Emily. I feel bad. I kept saying I kept telling her I liked her, Sarah. It's fine. This is fine. But yeah, so it was an Emily. It was indeed an Emily. She did really good. I'm just dumb. I'm just dumb. In my defense, Lucifer never met Emily.
Yeah, I called Charlie.
Yeah, well, in your defense, she looked very Lilith. So, um, finally made it back to the vendors and to meet the other two VAs. And this time we started with Angel Dust. We started with Blake Roman. He was so sweet. He's just a baby. He's so precious.
As indeed.
He does. He does.
Like, I thought my hand was going to go first. I was like, bro, you've got a strong grip.
Of course he does. He works for Valentino. He's got to.
Like, oh.
I said what I said. Um, but yeah, so I gave him the option of picking whether he wanted pink or blue, so that like each of them would get like a different duck. So Charlie would get the yellow, and then the boys would get the pink or blue ducks. And he was like, pink, of course. So he got the unicorn themed rubber duck. um, and then we went over to Amir's line. Oh my god. Never thought I'd see the day where I would be given shit by a VA. He was now again, prefacing this, they were all super sweet, all very nice. But Amir gave me shit for not showing up sooner. The Alistair voice actor thought I was ditching him. He gave me shit because he had seen us earlier. I guess whenever we went over to meet Charlie's VA, he had seen us over there, and then we left and never came back. And he was thinking that we just flat out ditched him for like 2 hours. It's like, my guy, be so for real. Oh man. So we were just kind of doing like the Alistair and Lucifer bickering back and forth, and I'm like I was just like, why would I go to you first when my daughter is right there? Like, it was super funny. And then he wanted a photo with us. Oh man. It was really funny because when he got up, he's to like, and he positioned like to take the photo as like a selfie. He got up and stood right next to Tatoka, blocking me. He stood right in front of me. And so I thought he was doing a bit, so I like peeked my head out over his shoulder, kind of glaring, like, what the fuck, man? And he was like, no, get on this side of me. He wanted to be in the middle, and I didn't realize that. But I thought he was doing a bit because he got so firmly in front of me. But as he had gotten up to like position himself, like we were still doing like the bickering thing, and he did the ha ha fuck you line at me, like in character. So Alistair told me, he said, I had Alistair say fuck you to me. But they were all so sweet. I gave him his duck, and he was very nice about it. And he was, but he was giving me jokingly giving me shit because he thought that he was excited to see my cosplay, and he was upset that he thought we weren't coming to see him, which I feel super bad about. But oh man, Kirsten not getting social quest. Oh man, what does that say? Hello there. Hi, welcome in. I'm just talking about how my weekend went at Comic Con. I was dressed as Lucifer from Hazbin Hotel for most of the time, and I'm talking about how all of the cast reacted to Lucifer. Yeah, I'm not gonna get over just unprompted hearing the line "Ha ha, fuck you" line thrown my way. They were all so sweet, like honestly. But because I gave each of the boys a duck, I then hopped back into Charlie's line because I needed to give her because I had brought 3 different types of ducks to the con. And so I was like, I cannot let my daughter have the same amount as these other 2. So I get back in line, and I guess at one point, like as like with the signing, like how they were signing people's prints, and I guess some people were getting like each of the cast to sign, and someone had asked Angel Dust what his favorite line was, and their favorite line was Lucifer's. Where at when he's talking to Adam, and he's like, "And now I am going to fuck you." And Charlie's VA had like was standing up yelling, and Erica was yelling at Blake, "You stole my line! You stole my favorite line!" And you know, being the silly goose that I am, I chimed in and also started yelling, "Actually, that is my line." And everybody was just kind of laughing and chuckling. And then she's like, "Yeah, that's my dad's line." And she's like pointing at me. And they're all yelling across at each other. um, and this time we did actually, this time around we got Erica to sign a print for me and Tatoka. She was super sweet. This time I gave her each of the ducks. So she's got one of each now. And apparently she had drawn a heart around. She'd been leaving the duck sitting on the table, and she had drawn a heart around it on the table. um, and while Totoko was like getting the money to the handler and stuff, and was like trying to figure out what name to have it under, and I'm sorry for leaving you with that, by the way.
Yeah, that staff member was just steadily like, "What name? What name?" And I'm like,
Yeah, that
"Girl,
was.
I have no idea."
It doesn't matter, dude. Just
Like,
pick
it
name.
doesn't matter. She can literally just sign her signature and not even name
Name.
it, and it'll
Yeah,
be
I
fine.
know.
Like, I was to that point. I was like,
Bruh,
I
no,
don't care.
literally though. But so while the handler was stressing Tatoka out, me and Erica decided to play tic tac toe on the fucking table. I thought about actually attempting to beat her in the game, but I was like, no, I'll let my daughter win, because I can kick ass at tic tac toe, man. I know the strats. I know the strats. I got the gamer moves for tic tac toe. I'm a pro gamer when it comes to tic tac toe. And then I was drawing like rubber ducks and stuff like on the table, and um, it was super it was super funny. But because I gave her more ducks, she ended up moving them and had to draw a bigger heart to sit them in. So, and I think that was the last we ended up interacting with the VAs. Yeah. I think the only other time we really interacted with any of the VAs is on Friday night. Is the rubber duck thing ever explained in the show? Not explicitly in the show, but it's very clear that he's depressed and maybe slightly autistic, maybe very autistic. Um, hyperfixations on ducks. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. But it's never explicitly explained in the show. So, but yeah, I do think the only other time we ended up interacting with any of the voice actors was Friday night. We were about to leave vendors when the fire alarm went off. Oh, so yeah, that alarm was very jarring and concerning. But also apparently it wasn't the whole damn convention center. It was just the vendors hall. So we all pile out, safety first and all that jazz. And so we actually ended up meeting up with our roommates over the course of this because we saw them also evacuating. And so we kind of reach a point where we're like stopped outside, just like, well, what do we do now? Do we go back to the room or where do we go? What's going on? And while we're standing there, one of our roommates was filming, like she was vlogging. They were vlogging. And Zeno Robinson and I'm assuming his fiance or handler or both walked right through the middle of the five of us and was just chatting with us about, like, man, what the fuck's going on with the fire alarm? We don't even know. Like, I mean, who knows, man? It's why people be people in at cons, man. And so he walked, he's kind of paused for a second chatting, and then he walked on through. And one of our friends was like, did anybody else notice that was Zeno Robinson? And her fiance and our friend who was vlogging both were like mouth open, eyes aghast, like, oh my god, was it? Losing their shit about it. Because by this point, he had crossed the street and was going back to the hotel. And our friend, keep in mind, had been filming, had been vlogging. We had just met him not even 5 minutes ago. We were just chit-chatting with him. And so we knew it was him. We were just chilling. We were vibing. We were just chatting with the man because, like, we've reached a point with like VAs and like big cosplayers or whatever have you that it's like we don't really put them on pedestals. We don't idolize them like that. Like, oh my god, it's Zeno Robinson, kind of thing. It's like they're chill people. They're chill people. They're just people, man. We're just gonna treat them like people. They're people just like us. Some are a little more chaotic. Some are a little more chill. And it is what it is. So we were just vibing, man. We were just chatting. But the other two were losing their shit. Like, oh my god, it was Zeno Robinson. But we decided to go back to the hotel as well, just because, like, it was almost time for vendors to close anyway, and we all were kind of reaching a point in the night where it was like, all right, let's kind of wind down for a bit. I had to finish something for one of my cosplays. Totoka had to finish something for hers, I think. We all had a lot of things we had to do back at the room. We needed to get dinner. It was a thing. But as we get closer to the hotel, as we get closer to the entrance of the hotel, one of our friends gets it in his head, like one of the ones that didn't realize it was him. Not the one that was filming. The other one was just like, hey, maybe we can catch up with him, and starts like fucking booking it, like hauling it. Like we get to the hotel entrance, and he's just like, maybe we can catch up. Maybe he hasn't gone up to his room yet. Maybe we'll catch him in the lobby. And he starts, when I say this man starts fucking booking it. The funny thing was, like, he like bolted past this like group of people that was right in front of us. Well, not in a like scary way, thankfully. The entire way everything happened was like comedic as fuck, because he like circled around this like group of like 4, maybe 5 people, because he was like trying to catch up with them. And I was like, hey friend, hey. And he's like, what? And he's like, stop. I'm like, hey, turn around. Hey, turn around. He's like, and he's like kind of not stomps his foot, but he wanted to. And he turns back and looks at me and he's like, what? And I'm like, look behind you, dude. The group he had bypassed was Zeno. It was Zeno's group. They hadn't gotten that far into the hotel, and he's like zooming past them, trying to catch up. And so we told Zeno about it, and they all just started laughing at him. We're all dying of laughter because he's trying so hard to catch up with them, and he didn't even fucking realize he already passed him. It was super sweet to, yeah. It just he was very excited to see Zeno. So that's why when I say like it wasn't gonna scare him because he fucking bypassed him. He bypassed him completely, not even realizing it. Oh man, that was so funny. Uh, I ended up deciding to do Lucifer on both days, both Saturday and Sunday of the con, just because I was really excited about it. I love Lucifer, and I think my cosplay turned out great. Um, but that just meant a lot more shenanigans ensued. Um, I'm trying to think of other things that happened. There was just so much. Oh, I've lost track of everything that happened. Oh, there was a Husk cosplayer, since this is a Husk fan song playing. There was a Husk cosplayer that I had befriended on Saturday, and I had reunited with him and some of the others on Sunday. And a joke ended up arising from that because apparently the Husk cosplayer was perfectly fine standing there, even amongst like other has-been cosplayers, and they really weren't getting stopped for like photos all that much. And then I show up, and it's like he gets stuck in one spot for like 15 minutes, and so it became. He had gotten back into Husk on Sunday because there was someone he really wanted to take a photo with, and he was going to get back out of Husk to get into Aziraphale that day. But he also wanted to get photos of just like himself as Husk, do a little photo shoot or whatever. But he was fully intending to be into Aziraphale by 12, by noon. Um, because of me, I don't think they got into Aziraphale until like 2 o'clock, maybe 2, maybe 2:30. Because people would keep coming up and stopping me, being like, "Hey, I love your Lucifer. Can I get a photo?" And I would be. It's because it reached that point that it was becoming a joke that I was like, "Hey, do you want a Husk in it as well?" So they'd be like, "Yeah, sure." I'd whip around and be like, "Hey, Husk, another photo." And they'd be like, "It's you! And this is your doing! It's your fault!" And I'm like, "I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what you're talking about." It's because we both look hot as hell. We both look amazing. But they were just like, "I keep getting stopped for photos every time I'm with you." I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Oh, man. Oh, I know another thing I got given. I got given so with the Taylor Swift like Eras tours, it had popularized like the friendship bracelets swapping thing. Um, and I actually had got given a bracelet back at Holiday Matsuri back in December when I was in Nami from One Piece. A Arlong, a Yassified Arlong cosplayer gave me a friendship bracelet, and they gave me the one that said mermaid because I was their unofficial daughter or whatever, like their adopted daughter or whatever. God, the sick joke that is. Um, and then I got given another bracelet at this con. There was this adorable little nifty cosplayer. Come to find out, it was a child, a very young child. But she was very sweet. She was so funny. Um, she gave me a friendship bracelet as well. She had done it with all of like the characters' names on it, but I don't think she realized that Lucifer was going to be there. So she didn't have one that said Lucifer. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the one that says Nifty. So I have a Nifty friendship bracelet now, and it's super sweet. I'm actually currently wearing it along with my mermaid bracelet and my duck ring. But there was one point when we were taking photos. It was me, another Alistair, and the husk that I was harassing, essentially. I was instigating, being a little goose too. Be like, hey, want another photo? It was the three of us stopped, and we all looked really, really good. Like we were all very well done cosplays. And so people were taking photos of the three of us, and I realized that that Nifty from earlier that had given me the friendship bracelet, so where we were at in the vendors hall, there's like a section of it that's kind of like a raised up floor for like a seating area that overlooks the where the artist tables and everything are at. And we were kind of standing in front of that wall taking these photos or having these photos taken of us. And I realized the Nifty was hanging over the edge with like her legs swinging over the edge, like over our shoulders. And so I started pointing her out to people like, if you take the photo at the right angle, you'll have Nifty hanging in the background. so, so we just so a bunch of people are walking around with just photos of just Nifty just in the background, being a little ominous. She did eventually hop down and join us for photos, and she gave some of the others friendship bracelets as well. Um, we took one photo that actually I need to save the photo before I lose it, but it was me, the Alistair Husk, and the Nifty. All took a photo where like each of our hands was like touching, so it was like a four-way thing, and you could see each of our friendship bracelets. Um, I talked the Husk into still holding on to his bottle of alcohol for the photo. So it's such a cute little photo. I love it so much. I low-key kind of want to like, I don't know, make it my background. If Lucifer wasn't already my background, that probably would have been made my phone background or something. God, the amount of like Alistairs, I was just like glaring down, and we're glaring me down, and we did like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other, just like you. Oh man. There was a Charlie cosplayer that was in a gorgeous long black dress, and she had on like this beautiful crown piece and everything that she was wearing. She had this cosplay and this design from before the show aired, so it was from the pilot. She kind of created this design, not knowing that like with Lilith, that's what it ended up looking very very similar to how Lilith is kind of designed. So a lot of people thought she was Lilith. And so because of that, everybody wanted photos of Lilith, quote unquote Lilith and Lucifer. And now, mind you, she was tall as hell. Like this woman was towering over me. It was great. It was wonderful. I was simping. It was fantastic. Um, but I felt so bad for her because like we were talking and she's like, "No, I'm Charlie. This is a Charlie cosplay." And I'm like, clearly, like she is a Charlie cosplayer just because of the way her makeup was, but her outfit was too strong, so people assumed it was Lilith, unfortunately. But she got to a point where she's like, I accept my fate. It's fine. This is fine. Um, oh man, all the Charlies were so sweet. What is that? What is that? What? Oh, that's just an advert for the merch that they dropped. Because they were Hell of a Boss and has been dropped new merch. Get a gaming mat with Alistair on it. I need a Lucifer one. I want a Lucifer one. But it's fine. This is fine. A lot of the Charlies kept finding me around the con repeatedly and were just like yelling for me and like hugging me repeatedly. New mulch. I had several people that had the box of like turf, and it just said touch some grass. Several of them wanted photos, and I'm like, yes, I don't know that we have grass in hell. I feel like we should, because most humans are allergic to grass. I feel like that's what we should have in hell, but whatever. That's just me, though. I'm trying to think of other funny things that happened. Do you have any stories that you remember that stood out to you?
No. I covered about everything, and I mean, me by myself, I didn't really
Yeah.
run into too much.
I'm just say yeah. The one of the Charlies even found me on Sunday. They had changed out of Charlie and they had got into a Sun cosplay from FNAF. And they still were like really excited to see me, and it was just super sweet, and showing me to their friend and everything. I don't know, it was just a good con, all the jokes and everything that were going on. I know some people were complaining about like the line control. And they're like, "Oh, has the con outgrown the convention center?" I personally don't think it has, because there was so much empty space all the time. Like, and I mean like all the time, that I really never got that feeling. Um, I think it purely was just because I don't think anybody fully expected how popular Has-Been Hotel was going to be. I was about to say, yeah. I think for sure the next con we're intending to do is going to be MomoCon. Um, MomoCon. We've never been to MomoCon, but so many of our friends are going and want us to go, and so many people at this con were like, "Oh my god, are you going to MomoCon?" I'm like, "Fuck, I've got to at this point." Jesus. And it's far enough away that it'd be a lot easier to plan for it than what we did for Comic-Con. Um, you know, because Comic-Con was like less than a month's notice. At least with Momo, we have like, what is it? March, April, May. Like 3.5 months. Yeah, it's at the end of May. So we've got like 3.5 months, which is a lot more time. So, plenty of time to figure out money and cosplays and all the fun little details and getting off work and everything for it. Yeah. But yeah, I purely think like the complaint just had to do with like line control for the Has-Been panels, just because Has-Been Hotel was so popular. But it's also like the show just dropped. The finale was last week. Like, the timing of it was kind of fed into why it was so popular. Like, and for how well it's done too. Like, I've seen so many people be like, "Yeah, no, my parents just randomly put the show on. I never recommended it to them. I'm surprised they decided to watch it." And they're like, "It's okay, blah blah blah." Um, Shoot, even my grandparents watched the first episode. Not their cup of tea. Oh, that's another thing. So, so there was multiple events taking place the same time as the convention. The most notable one is we had the Alabama Republican Party were meeting in one of the hotels. Whatever it was. But I kept begging everybody in my room to let me traumatize just one of them. Well, you require chicky nuggies. I also require chicky nuggies. Cryptic, go get everybody chicky nuggies. Go get everybody chicky nuggies, Cryptic. We need chicky nuggies. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro, what is that? I ain't getting shit. I'm tired. Cryptic. Cryptic, why? Oh my god, Cryptic, why are you like this? I don't want to nibble on those nuggies. I don't want those nuggies. God. Oh, I forgot to tell them about the rock. The rock. Do y'all want to hear about the rock? I gotta tell y'all about the rock. I got the rock. Honestly, I think the rock was my favorite part of the whole con. The whole thing. Yes, a rock, a rock. So I got given a rock. It was great. Um, so for context, so with Comic Con, they've got their official page on Facebook, and then there's the like unofficial page, which is or the group or whatever, where all of the fans, they say fans, but like all the attendees post in there, like if you're con crunching, if you have questions, just it's just a little group page for attendees essentially. Ask about things that are happening at the con, share your experience. Currently, it is where everybody's photo dumping all the photos they took over the con weekend. Um, so everybody is searching through everybody's photo albums, trying to find photos of them. There's so many of me. There's so many of me. Lord, I looked high as fuck in some of those photos. I felt kind of bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I was tired, I promise. Um, But anyway, so in the lead up to the con, there was one person was posting about. She posted about two different things. Number one, she was her kids wanted to be the egg boys for the con, so she was posting about making the egg boys costumes for them out of like cardboard and stuff. But she also was posting about rocks that she had painted, and in one particular post, she said, if anybody is if there's a Lucifer cosplayer, I have a duck for you. And I was like, oh, bet. So I commented saying, hi, I'm gonna be Lucifer again tomorrow. I would love the duck rock. Would love it. And so when I woke up Sunday and was getting ready, I was like antsy. I was like, I need to find this woman. I need these rocks. Serpina. Excuse me, he is Sir Repentious now. It is Saint Repentious. Um, all hail Saint Repentious. Um, but yeah, so I'm walking around the con Sunday morning, being like, I gotta find these eggs. I'm like, I get to the point where I've got my damn glasses on, trying to find. Like, I'm like, I don't know what this if she's cosplaying or not. She was not. It was her boys were cosplaying as the eggs. So I'm like, I'm looking for these eggs because I need a rock, which is a wild statement. I'm looking for these eggs because I want a rock, a duck rock specifically. So I'm just circling vendors hall at this point. And people who had seen me yesterday but didn't see the wings were stopping me again. I got a photo with you yesterday. I was blah 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 blah. Can I get another photo? Sure. The wings, they live. Yes, I fixed them. Blah 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 blah. Oh my god, I thought I saw you yesterday. Oh my god. I'm just looking for some eggs. Have you seen any eggs? Have you seen any eggs? Nobody. Somehow most people miss the egg boys because I'm running around telling everybody like, so apparently there's a mama who's got some rocks and her boys are the egg boys, and they're like, oh my god, is she Serpentious? And I'm like, I don't know, but there's eggs and there's rocks and I need them. Fuck. I was wondering how long it would take us to get here. I was wondering how long it would take us to get here. They were not damp eggs. They were cardboard eggs. But I'm running around like a crazy person. Don't you instigate this. I'll send you away. Don't you instigate this. So I'm running around like a crazy person trying to find eggs. Um and so I eventually be so for real. um so I eventually pass by and I see the eggs and like there's a gaggle of kids and this woman. There's only 2 egg boys though. And I stop and like one of them spots me and immediately starts doing the mom, hey mama, turn around. Mom, look behind you. Mom, mom. Meanwhile, she's trying to talk to whoever this poor voice actor is. I think it might have been Greg Baldwin or something. I don't know who it was. Greg something Sips maybe? I don't know. But this poor woman is trying to talk to whoever she's talking to and getting an autograph from. And this child is just like constantly like patting her arm and like trying to get her attention. I mean, so I strike a pose. I just holding my cane, just waiting patiently. I'm not gonna say anything because the kid's doing all the work for me. Might as well take my glasses off because I want to ruin the effect. And she turns around finally and sees me, and she gets so excited. And I'm like, yes, I was the one that commented about the rock. And she immediately starts digging for the rock. That bitch was hefty as hell. I mean, the rock, not the woman. Like, so she had painted, and the whole thing of it, and I feel like I mentioned it, but I don't remember if I did. ADHD is great. But she had hand painted designs on all the rocks. And this specific rock, and this was the one, for a Lucifer cosplayer, was the magic tastical backflipping rubber duck that breathed fire, wearing Lucifer's hat. She had painted that on a rock, and I wanted that rock. And she gave me that rock. I now have it. I love it so much. It looks so good, honestly. Like it's amazing work she did. Um, Sorry, long con weekend. Coffee. I thought coffee would help, but it has not helped. Um, but the mother wants a photo of me with the boys. I also want one, but I don't say anything immediately. Who's making caveman accusations? Nobody has done that. Don't you start. But she wants a photo of me with the boys, so she tells them to get up next to me. And I come to find out the one who was cosplaying specifically Frank, because one of them was like, I'm gonna be Frank. So the one cosplaying Frank he said to me, that's $1 for a photo. Sir? Excuse me? What? Your mama's the one that wants the photo. I don't carry cash. What? This little kid was trying to hustle me for $1. So and then they take the photo for their mama, and then I'm like, I ask if I can get a photo, and he's like, that'll be $1. Kid, oi, oi, and it just, oh my god. And during all of this, a Aziraphale cosplayer had walked up to me. Like I forget what had happened, but listen, dude, that little kid was so fucking funny. It just threw the chaos off it all. Like more people like wanted photos of me or were like talking to me, and like someone had stopped and wanted a photo of like the 2 boys and me. And then whenever like by this point the mama had already given me the rock, and I was trying to let them go about their day and everything, so I'd stopped off and was talking with the Aziraphale cosplayer. And their Crowley was further down the way, and so we started walking towards them. And I get called back because someone else wanted a someone else had walked up and had wanted a photo of me with the egg boys again. And as I'm walking back, because I've got issues, man, and including hearing issues. And so I finally realized they were calling me back. And so as I'm walking back, I hear Frank saying to this person that had walked up and wanted a photo of the three of us, "That's $1 for a photo." This little kid was asking everybody, saying to everybody that wanted a photo, "That's $1. I mean, $1 for a photo." Come to find out, because they apparently went and met each of the voice actors. So they met Amir, Erica, and Blake. And I guess they met Amir first. I don't know if they. Listen. They went up to Amir and was like, "That's $5 for a photo." Because he wanted a photo with them. And he actually ended up posting it on his Instagram, and it kind of went viral, and it was a whole thing, and people are awful, and I've already seen people making I've seen people making violent remarks towards those kids, about those kids, and I'm just like, y'all gotta fucking chill. Y'all have got to chill. That is unnecessary. But come to find out, Amir actually paid them $5 and then ended up getting, I think, $20 between all three VAs. So apparently Frank left the con singing Macklemore's thrift shop. I got $20 in my pocket. Because they managed to get money from every single one of the has-been voice actors for photos. Frank out here hustling, and it's working. Just like, bruh, be so for real. So, those egg boys were hilarious. Bruh, listen. Like, oh my god. I fucking cannot. Oh man, I forgot. Who was. Just all of her kids were a hoot and a half. One of them was dressed up as John Wick and was just like. The whole time the egg boys were like talking with me, and then the exchange with the rock and everything, he's back there with his little blade or gun or whatever, just doing I don't know what he was doing. He was just doing a lot of motions back there, and I'm like, you do you, kid. You do you, John Wick. Those kids were a hoot and a half, truly. But yeah, so I ended up getting a photo with the egg boys. They were great. Oh, dude. I kind of wish I'd gotten photos with the Has-Been cast, but it's fine. It's all good. It was a good fun con. I'm excited for MomoCon. I'm probably gonna do, or I'm intending on doing Lucifer's demon form, and I think Totoka is intending to do Charlie's demon battle form as well. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to actually have the time to sit and work on these cosplays instead of having to rush them like we did for this. All brand new wigs. A lot of it's going to get reworked. I'm excited. I'm trying to think. Was there anything you didn't like about Comic-Con?
The times.
Yeah, the times were weird. Like, it just so when we got there on Friday, we woke up pretty damn late, actually, like for going to events and stuff. Because we knew registration opened at 10 for like getting your badges and everything. And it was like, well, shoot, like we don't want to be too late to anything. We've probably missed a lot of panels, a lot of this, a lot of that. Come to find out, fucking the manga library that they had didn't open till 2. And the vendor's room didn't open till 3 p.m. But you could pick up your badge at 10 a.m. Now, there were some panels that were running, and they had like opening ceremonies and everything, but it was all like lackluster kind of panels and stuff. Because that was the day that the Has Been Cast did like the live Q&A or whatever, so they weren't even there yet. So all of that, like Friday was kind of meh. But just everything opening so late was weird. Oh, you know what my least favorite part was? Subway.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the fucking I know people complain about con prices, but like fucking Subway, dude. A sandwich, a cookie, and a drink cost me $20. $20 fucking. So like for 2 sandwiches, that's like $40 fucking. At that point, I'm just gonna go down to Mugshots. I'm gonna go down to a damn sit down restaurant for that price. Like, be for real. Like, I, that just is insane to me. And half of them didn't know what they were doing. They were constantly asking each other like how to do things, and I don't know. It was freaking wild. Oh. Well, see, that's Uber Eats. Like, there's like fucking delivery fees and tips and other shit all into that order, like into that cost. With freaking, we walked to the Subway. We were inside the Subway ordering. Like, it was just a regular sandwich. There wasn't really any fixins. There wasn't extra meat, wasn't extra anything. It was just a regular sandwich. One single cookie and one drink. Like, that is baffling to me. We ended up on the second night there going to an actual sit down restaurant, and I think we paid, was it 55 was the total? Something like that. For like an actual like sit down meal.
Yeah.
Whereas, and that's where we got like an appetizer, and we got our meal and our drinks. We got an alcoholic beverage, because we do be adults. And all of that was like barely more than what it cost us at frickin' Subway. Insane. So yeah, never going back to that Subway again, dude. Like, that was insanity. But I did very much enjoy the food where we ate. It was very good. Still got to leave a review since he didn't want to take the tip.
Oh yeah.
Oof. But yeah. All right. Well, it's getting close to 2 hours now. My first job, Subway stole my tips. Gross. Subway has just gone downhill in so many freaking ways. Makes me so sad because I used to love Subway growing up. But it's whatever. I think I'm gonna probably call it here now that I've kind of gone over a lot of how much fun I had at the con. All the fun highlights and whatnot. We've got family in town, so we gotta go meet them for dinner. I just wanted to make sure like I did stream since I actually had the time today. I will try to stream again later this week. Same thing as usual. I will keep it posted on my not Twitter. Yes, I'm so glad. I hope you've been doing well, Cryptic. Eat all the breadsticks for me, bruh. Best believe. I'm gonna eat all the bread. Bread is good. It's not good for you, but it's good. Well, bye. Have a good night. Stay silly.